in various portfolios. And even as we engage her this evening, we hope to tap into the grace, as it were, of building a good professional brand. Because I mean, if you haven't realized it by now, this this specific personality we're bringing to you is a brand unlike any other. Without further ado, and before I introduce our speaker, let me encourage each and every one of us. Let me remind rather that, we'll have a Q&A session. That's a question and answer session at the end of our discussion. So if you have any questions, please type them in the message section and she will be able to respond at the end of her presentation. Without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, allow me to bring to you Dr. Veronica Musa.
Hi, good evening. I hope we're doing okay. Is my mic loud and clear?
Please loud and clear. Loud and clear.
Thank you so much. I wish I could turn on my camera, but we don't have Zesco, and so it is what it is. I'm sure almost everyone is in the dark place. But so Kalenga, as you were introducing me, as like in 2026, I need to contest as as a councillor or an MP, and you would definitely be my campaign manager, because just the intro itself, oh my gosh, I was blushing. I was like, But thank you so much. And also, I would love to say thank you to John, who is the founder of the A+ Foundation, and to the entire team for according me this opportunity to just come and speak, to just come and talk about this topic this evening. It's such a rare privilege, and I don't trivialize any platform, regardless of how small or how big it is. It's really an honor. Thank you so much, and you're doing an amazing job. What you're doing is great. Keep it up. I love the consistency. I just love how you're so organized. I just want you to know that we're very proud of you, and you're doing a good job. So I will dive into the discussion this evening, and it's just so good to see each and every one of you. I've seen some of my friends logging in. Thank you so much for coming through. So this evening, John told me that to talk about building a cohesive brand. And so I started asking myself, so what am I going to, how should I say it? How should I deliver it? And Kalenga, in his intro, he defined what a brand is. And I was like, Kalenga, you're just talking about my entire presentation. Can you please stop? What are you doing? But so let's get right started. So what is a brand? So every time when someone talks about a brand, what is a brand? How do I build a brand? How do I become a brand? So for me, I think a brand, my personal definition is like a collective thing, what you regard yourself to be and what other people regard you to be, like what people will say when you're not in the room, and also what you perceive yourself to be. So a brand for me is also something that I call a preference. Like you just get to decide what type of brand you want to be. Like Zanaco would have decided to be Zambif, but they decided to be Zanaco. You get what I mean? So a brand is a preference. It's something that you choose yourself. What type of a brand do I want to become? What type of brand do I want my business to become? So I'll be talking about how to build a brand as a person, how to build your brand in a business, and also how to be consistent with your brand, because it's possible for you to build your brand and yet not be consistent with it. So this is how my presentation is going to flow. I'll talk about your brand as a person, your brand in a business, and also a brand, how to be consistent with your brand. As you pursue building your brand, how are you going to be consistent? So just like I said earlier, a brand for me is a preference. It's something that you choose to become. It's something that you choose and want people to think about you when you are not in the room. So Zanaco would have chosen to be Zambif, to start selling meat, but they chose to do with money. So that's why their brand is specifically just money. So Zambeef, it's just known for selling meat, these that these meat things and all. They would have chosen to be a bank, but they chose to be Zambeef, to be supplying us with all these meaty things. So a brand is a preference. That's what they preferred to do. So, and also a brand is something that, what do people think of you when they mention your name? Like what comes into your mind when you hear Dr. Veronica? So I keep asking my friends, so when you hear someone saying Veronica, what really comes into your mind? And almost everyone have something similar. So Veronica is a doctor who's an entrepreneur. That's the first thing that you will talk about when someone asks you, who's Veronica? Because that's a brand that I have decided to portray to the people that see me, and that's a preference that I have chosen for myself. I would have chosen to have a brand of a slay queen, but I chose to have a brand of a doctor and an entrepreneur. So I hope my definition is clear, and also like the foundation is clear. So how do you build a brand? Like how do you choose what brand should I? Where do I start from? So the first thing I think you need to understand, like, what's your passion? Because if you are being driven by passion, it's easy for you to stay in track. You get right? Because if you're not passionate about the brand that you want to build, you will always be moved by the wave of the brand of the next person. So if you know that you want to be known for a person who really loves medicine, a good doctor, you want to be putting out information out there online about medicine. That is your brand. Are you passionate about it? So the first step for you to build a good brand is to be passionate about the brand that you want to build, because passion is going to keep you in check. Like being in the medical field, being a student for 7 years, it has made me realize that even after a patient dies in theater on the bed, the doctor next day won't write a resignation letter and say, I'm stopping to work. They don't do that, because they are being driven by passion, and passion will always keep you in check. It will always get you back to where you're supposed to be. So as you're building your brand, remember to be passionate about it, because passion will always keep you in check. You always want to go about it and just do it. And if you're doing something with passion, it comes easy, and it's effortless. It's easy for you to do it. It doesn't take you so much effort for you to flourish in it. So the first thing, make sure that the brand that you're trying to build is in line with something Do I want to target people that want to get into business? If you've noticed some of the posts that I usually make, like on social media, on entrepreneurship, is because I usually, in my mind, I just want to target people who are startups, because I am a startup as well, and I have been at that place where they have been. So my brand is to help that person who's starting up in business to not to make the mistakes that I once made. So as you build your brand, you need to have your target audience. What's my audience? You just can't be a brand for each and every audience. You're going to lose your purpose. So you need to have a target audience. And also, the other thing is that you need to have a visual identity. Like, as you build your brand, I like one of my mentors who is Miss Mzinga Melu. You know, if you look at her, how I think it's just now she's even able to change her wig, like her visual identity. She's very, I attended a conference where she was saying she is very intentional about her brand, such that even just the hair that she does is very consistent. Even when you look behind her, you'll be able to tell that is her, because she always just has like one hairstyle, you know. So if someone can be so intentional about the brand to an extent of the hair that they wear, what more can you do? So as you build your brand, make sure that your visual presentation is also very important. A lot of people say dress how you want to be addressed. You know, if you want to build like a strong brand, even just your visual presentation has to be presentable, because nowadays, you know, like someone, you can't just dress anyhow. You can't just appear in class anyhow with a short and slippers. It can never, guys. It can never. You just can't do that. What brand are you building? You know, as a woman, as a lady, what brand are you building? You just can't wake up at 8 hours. You are with your bonnet. You're moving around campus with the house slippers, nachi robe. What type of brand are you trying to build? So as whatever brand you are building, make sure that even the visual presentation, you know, it's showing. Because how can you feel imba president by some kushta campaign? Ba president by some kushta campaign at Michael Chilufa University by some short. Can you take them serious? When you look at even this person who's been contesting, I don't know, for 3 years or so, Vamudiokela, I think one thing that we don't really just take so serious about him also is just how he dresses, like how he just appears when he's on TV or what. So as you're building your brand, make sure that your visual presentation is on point. But it doesn't mean you have to get expensive things. Like, you just need to work around the colors. You just need to work around how you iron your suits, your neckties and whatnot. Make sure that your visual presentation is very much important and it's on point. On the lighter moments, when a guy is proposing to a girl, because the first thing that someone sees before you even say anything is how you're dressed. Like, when you step onto a stage, before you speak, the person will have first to look at what you're wearing. And then most speakers, when they're given an audience to speak at on every platform, they take like 5 minutes doing like a lighter moment, because when people see you, the first 5 minutes, they'll just be assessing your dress code. They'll just be looking at your shoes. Ama socks, the socks are matching with the belt. You know what I mean? Like, the first 5 minutes, the first thing that people will do definitely is your visual presentation. So make sure that your visual presentation is on point. What people will only listen to you when you are looking good, when you are looking sharp, when you're smelling nice, when your haircut is cut nicely, when your hair is on point, because you are building your brand. I can't listen to someone who goes on stage and they're with a bonnet. Like, you're wasting my time. I'm dressing good. I've come to listen to you, and you're wearing the things that you're wearing. It's unacceptable. So make sure that your visual presentation is on point. Then the other thing is that you need to have a brand voice. Like, what voice do you want to take up? You know, it's so amazing that I once attended this conference, and this speaker came in, like, the way he was speaking, guys, he was using this American accent per stage. And then when he was done with his presentation, when he came down, when I greeted him, he had a different tone. I was like, yeah, Shani, like you have different tones for each and everything. So like your tone has to be consistent. Like when you are talking to your parents, you know what I mean? When you're talking to your parents, there's a tone of respect that you use. When you are a boss, when you are a class rep, I've been a class rep before, you know, like a class rep of 300 students, you definitely have a tone for that when you're making announcements, because sometimes you just hear, even at the back in second and third year, you just hear them making noise, but you need to have like a tone of leadership. You need to have, excuse me, sorry. So you need to have a tone of leadership. There's a tone of respect. So make sure that you choose, like, what tone do I want people to know me for? Like when I just say, hi guys, you know that it's definitely Veronica. Like, okay, what like, you know my tone. Like even when you haven't just looked behind, you definitely know that this is Dr. Veronica speaking, because there is a tone that you have to build for your brand. I don't know, this is like the 8th thing. You need to have consistent messaging. This is one thing that I really want to emphasize on, consistent messaging. Like you need to be very consistent with the message that you are bringing out there as you are building your brand, especially on social media. Make sure that your message is very consistent. When you go through my social media platform, you'll find that the things that I post are very consistent. I post about entrepreneurship. I'll post about church thing. I'll post about entrepreneurship. I'll post about chasing, because that is a brand that I want people to know me for. Not today, your Facebook, you've shared, today, you've shared politics. Milo, when you wake up, you share what's trending with Zukanji and your maps. The other thing, you share what's trending. And then when someone is going through your social media platform, they start now imagining, who is this person? Like, they don't even know, like, who's this person? They can't even figure out. The next thing that you share is what Vankani is saying, you know, about politics, what's going on. Like your life is just scattered. So as you build your brand, make sure that, you know, you are very consistent. You are very consistent with your message. What message do you want people to know you for? Like, what message do you want to be bringing out there each and every time? So be consistent with the message. And then the other thing is that make sure that you build your social media audience. You know, everyone loves visibility. Trust me, even when people say, no, if because you can never impact if you don't have a following. That's just the truth. You can only impact up to a certain level. So as you build your brand, make sure that you are very intentional about creating your visibility. Like, how am I doing it on social media? How should I grow my numbers? What should I put out there? That's where the part of being consistent with your message is very important, because if they see that this person is very passionate with entrepreneurship, so people who love entrepreneurship, they'll be following you. People who love school, who love medicine, they'll be following you. People who are career-based people, they'll be following you because they have seen how consistent you are. So as you build your brand, make sure that it is very, very consistent with the message that you are bringing out there, because people want to support something that's very consistent. People want to make sure that what you're doing is consistent. That's when you see that people are following you. People don't follow. It's a busy world, trust me. It is a very, very busy world, such that you just can't follow each and every page that you see out there. You just can't follow pages that don't align with your brand's purpose. So even after this call, I want you to go through your social media, people that you follow. Like, is this in line with the brand that I want to see? Okay, so if you want to be a brand ambassador for people, for Mosi or Castle Light, you know, of Savannah, you can take pictures of the Savannah, because that is the brand that you're trying to build. You know what I mean? You can take a picture with whatever, those Tuma alcohols, whatever, because that is a brand that you're trying to build. But sweetheart, if you're trying to build a brand of a respectable person, I want you to go and delete those pictures that you've set up onto your social media that has has Tuma cooler box, that has Tuma alcohol here and there, because that is not the brand that you want to set out there. So you need to be very careful with the things that you actually bring out for people to see. It's very important. We always say, no, what I share on social media, that's not who I am. But the truth is that what you share is who you are. Out of the abundance of the heart, the mouth speaks. Out of the abundance of what you think about, that's what you show on social media. And that is just the truth. So even if you try to defend and say, no, what I share on social media, that's not who I am. Sister, my brother, that's who you are, because that's what you show us. So how are we going to know you if you don't show us your life? So whatever you show on social media, that is your life. Because you can't send in your application letter, your CV, and tell us that, no, what I wrote on my CV, that's not who I am. You know, CV. So your social media life is like a curriculum vitae, because what you're showing out there is who you are. That is just the truth. So if you show those posts, those memes, those whatever, it's because that's what you think about each and every day. Because you just can't share a post that doesn't resonate with you. You know what I mean? You just can't do that. You know, it will be so unprofessional for my bishop, my dad, my father in the Lord to share a post done by Mutale Mwanza. You know, like, what am I going to say? Like, Bishop, what's going on? You know, we'll definitely even call him, Dad, have you been hacked? Because that's not his brand. You know what I mean? So even you, when you say that, no, that's not who I am, but you're sharing it, that is who you are. You know, so we don't want to start calling you it's better we call you that, have you been hacked? Because we know that is not the brand you're trying to bring up. No, but not post that, you know, that's who she is, that's who he is. Those are the things that they share. So make sure that your brand is something that you want, even after 10 years, your older self to come and look back and say, wow, you lived your younger self very well. So as you build your brand on social media, let me emphasize on this as well. Build on your communication skills. It's very important. The last week, I think I was speaking to Zamsa, and I was telling them, during my 7 years in school, I told myself, and I made an agreement with myself, that I'm not going to graduate from med school after 7 years with just a degree. It's going to be an error for me to do that, because 7 years is just a long time. 7 years, in that 7 years, if I got married in that 7 years, someone who got married in that 7 years, they definitely have, like, if they are very fertile and they understood the law of go and multiply, definitely they have like 5 kids. You know what I mean? So now imagine someone who has 5 kids in the period that I was studying, then I just come out with a degree only. I told myself I'm not going to do that. So I was very intentional when I was in school. I told myself I'm not ever going to graduate with just a degree alone. No. So when I was in school, I was very consistent. I was very intentional about building myself. I would take up these certificates, and I'm so proud of myself each and every time when I look back that in 7 years, I managed to acquire like 70 certificates of different courses, of different things. And those are the things that are opening great doors for me. You know, not because I am a doctor, no, but because of the things that I was doing behind the degree. You know, because nowadays, even when I'm looking for employment, people don't even look at my degree anymore. You know, because there are a lot of doctors that send in their application letters, but they look at what is she adding, what other things has she done. You know, like, is she able to work with Excel? What communication skills has she done? Has she done project management? Has she done working with, you know, people work and education, you know, such things. These are the things that are definitely going to set you apart, because those are the things that you've been consistently adding value on yourself, and they look very small. Trust me, when you're doing these things, like when you go on the Yali page, you find these programs, the online one that you can actually do in a week, in a month, they look very small, but trust me, you are going to appreciate and you'll be so grateful to God that you definitely took up those things, because those are the things that are definitely going to set you apart. So as you build a brand, remember to add value to yourself. Like, what value am I adding to myself? Like, what value am I adding to myself? So now I'll get into, oh, my time is running. I'll get into the other part, which is how to build your business brand. I know it's about professional brand and all, but I would also just love to dive into the business part, because, everyone is now doing business, and I'm sure 5 or 6 people from this audience, they definitely want to venture into entrepreneurship. So as you build your brand entrepreneurship, the first thing that you need to start with, you need to think about, what do I want to start selling? Like, what do I want to be known for out there? Like, what things do I want to start selling? So what colors will I have for my brand? Because sometimes, if you see yellow anywhere, if you see yellow, the first thing, it's like the mind is actually even so accustomed that when I see yellow, it's MTN mobile money. When I see red, it's Airtel mobile money. Or when I see red, I'll think of Airtel, or I'll think of Zanaco. You get? When I see blue, definitely I always think of FNB. Even when I see FNB, it's another company. You get what I mean? So when you are building a brand for your business, the first thing, know what you want to start selling. The other thing, have a color for your business, because that's what's going to set you apart. Like for us, the restaurants, all our colors are red. Yeah. So when you see anything red near the hospital, I'm sure ni Veronica Saka, because that's the color that we have chosen. So choose a color, have a logo for your business. You don't really have to be, you don't really have to start like on a higher height. Most students do I don't know if you can call them illusional, like illusional dreams of how we want and where we want to become, how far we want to go. We always just think of, gonna say, build, I think kese kwata fetenda ya 1 million, kese kwata fetenda ya 200,000. I'm a galazaya. How sure? Like we have those illusional things. But then if you can't start from this at a very smaller foundation, like of you thinking about, so what color would I love to have? Will I love to have like a color for the Zambian flag? What color would I love to put out there? Like what logo can it be? And also like the things that you need to be very consistent, like with the things that you're like the presentation of the things that you're doing. Sometimes you sell something, you sell like headsets in school, you sell drinks, but when you're advertising in a group, we just wake up to 400 pictures. Why can't you put those pictures on one poster and they can fit there? You get what I mean? Like you make our bundles to deplete for us to open like 400 things, for us to open like 400 things that you're selling. And other pictures are so even blurry. Like who does that? Like pictures are blurry. And also like on the brand part, sorry, I forgot. Or when I was talking about the visual presentation, I also wanted to say, like even the pictures that you take, even the pictures that you put out there, like people have to zoom in to see it. Like they even start thinking I don't know, because even the picture that you are putting out there, people can't even know if it's you or not. You get what I mean? Like make sure at least a profile picture, guys. Mwenda kona ku photoshoot fetch kwacha chabe mogura shan BC mwenda ku photoshoot. At this time I just want to be very intentional. I go, you take a nice profile picture, you even put it out there. Like such smaller things, they are very great. Trust me on that one. You just take a very nice photo, you just put it out there. Now the pictures that you put, your profile picture, you are 8 on the profile picture. A person can't even know you. Like, who is the owner of the phone? Like, bushe phone yaba nani, bushe yaba nangu yaba, So I want you to go back and just make a screenshot. Like, this is a challenge. John, like, I want everyone to post their profile pictures in the group that you have, the A+ Foundation, or even just their profile, like their DPs on WhatsApp. Then you'll see. But what I'm telling you is the truth. Profile picture, but 8. And I've just saved your number. Imagine, like, you've just given me your number now after this event, and then on the profile picture, I'll just see you are 8. There's Vanti, Vashani. Like, we don't even know who's the owner of the phone. You can't even know. So make sure that at least next month when you get your BC, please, mwenda kwa photo shoot, you gula machitako ka picture, you just post it out there like it's nice, those to my CEO poses, those are very important, because remember what you're putting out there, that's the first thing that you'll perceive. What I'm not So, one of my mentors was telling me that there's a lady that they wanted to involve. He's the HR. This is real story. He's the HR for a very big company. So they wanted to involve this person to be a brand ambassador for their company. So when they visited their page, what they found, the pictures, guys, the pictures of crop tops, the pictures of, like those light hair thing. And then, so the man was like, but, like, can we involve this person to represent our brand, And then the other man who recommended the person said, no, it's just social media, it's just social media. But how are we going to guess? Like, we don't have spiritual eyes to see the heart of this person, but what we have seen from the outside and what this person has been showing us is just who they are. And this person lost the tender before she was even approached because of the crop tops that she used to post, the light hair. Like, how do you just do purple hair? How do you do white hair and you put it out there? Like, no, someone like Misha White, because that's the first thing that just comes into mind. You get what I mean? So ladies, my dear ladies, make sure that your DP on Facebook and on Instagram, on WhatsApp, whichever platform that you use, on LinkedIn, make sure that it is very, very presentable. And then the other thing, let's get back to business. I'm sorry, let's get back to business. So the other thing is that you need to be, you need to be consistent with the customers as well. Like, know the customers that you want to attract. If you sell to my Mojo, if you sell to my energy drinks, you're just putting it because that's a target audience. My students have a 0 per MCS. So like, you need to know your target customers. You need to know and also you need to start monitoring your brand reputation. This is just for a general, for your personal brand and your business brand. Monitor your brand reputation. Like, how am I doing? Sometimes you need to have like a checklist of how am I doing? How is my social media going? Like, I'm so proud of myself that when I go through my social media, like when I'm going through my news feed, I'm like, hey, I'm the one who shared this content. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I'm just so proud that, oh my gosh, like, is this my page? Is this my shiny? So sometimes you need to do like a review of the things that you share. That's like you going back, like, to monitor your brand reputation. Like, okay, sometimes you just even get your friend's phone. Like, okay, boy, Katende, let me just try and log in onto your social and onto your page. I just go and search myself. Like, when you log into your phone, you delete. There's certain things that I would post before it even finishes loading. I would delete. I'm like, no, this doesn't represent my brand. You know what I mean? So go through your brand and just see, like, what things have I been sharing lately? Ask your friends, like, ask someone who will be very open with you. You ask them, like, how am I doing? What do you think? What I'm sharing? What I'm posting, is it making sense? How can I improve? And someone who is just very so genuine with you, they're definitely going to give you a very honest answer. They'll tell you, no, boy, like what you posted last time, Takare Panga sense, it's like you were telling someone what happened in class. So the other thing that I want to talk about, the last thing that I want to talk about, how to be consistent, how to build a consistent brand. One thing is that you need to be consistent. This is very important. Not, Mwananda, no, I want to be sharing content on medicine. Mwananda, I want to be talking about HIV, how HIV is so prevalent in the hospitals. You start very well. You start today, post. Yeah, next day you post, after 2 days you post. The next time we'll come and hear from you is after 2 months. It's after a year. And then we even come start defending. No, I just needed a social media break. I was going through stuff. That's why I haven't been active. When you start building a brand, there's no turning back, because you are going to mislead your audience. You're just starting up. You just get 10 likes on Facebook. Now, whenever 10 likes, because you're not consistent, buy sakofe 50 people vachitakofe like page and you even stop posting. I'm a celebrity, 50 likes. By the time you're coming to post after 6 months, people would have even forgotten about you. So like you need to be very consistent and be very determined and like be consistent. So if you choose that I want to be very consistent, I'll be posting like this, like you'll be posting like 3 times in a week, and you have to be researching a lot because people are reading a lot. Like for me today, I had to read, I had to go through a lot of things because like I'll be speaking to intellectuals and I was really, really nervous, like, guys. So if you're building a brand, it's just a lighter note. If you're building a brand, you need to make sure that you're researching a lot, you're attending a lot of conferences, you are up to date. So if you want to start talking about politics, you need to be very updated. You need to start following pages, the Nkani, the Mwebantu, the whatever pages that will just keep you up to date to whatever is happening. So make sure that you're very consistent and make sure that you are researching a lot. You need to be a reader. You need to be reading a lot. You need to be up to date and keep your audience very engaged. Hey? Not when they like your picture, when they comment on the content that you have shared, you don't even respond to any of them. Keep them engaged. That's how you grow like your audience. Then read books a lot, attend a lot of conferences. They're definitely going to help you. Attend events like these, like where you have such moments where you have people coming in to just speak to you through the A+ Foundation. These are great platforms for your growth. They are very, very important. And then also you need to adapt to changes. Like you just can't be the rock of ages. Only God is the rock of ages. You can't be a rock of ages, guys. You need to be adapting to whatever is trending. You need to align with what's trending. You need to align with what's trending in line with your purpose. Yeah. So don't be the rock of ages at if for sharing a content. And there is a way of sharing content. Nowadays, people get bored to read long posts. Imagine with this Zesco, your phone is like on 1%, and then Kalenga, you've written a long post, and my phone is on 1%. Like it will be so hard for me to just follow it, you get, because the 1%, my phone will drain, and then I don't know what time power will be restored for me to charge my phone. So like you need to be updated. Like how are people making their posts now? Like how are people sharing their content out there? Now people are doing it like in phases. If you want to start talking about leadership, you don't have to talk about all the types of leadership. Leadership type 1. On your last part, kawafika paragraph on your last part, you put follow my page as I share on Wednesday the next leadership segment. Like you just don't have to share everything, you know what I mean? Yeah. And then if you are able to, people get attracted to what they see. You put your picture out there, you put a picture that's in line with what you're talking about. Before someone actually even reads, they'll seek a picture. It's a way of you just trying to communicate because you want to reach a greater audience. You get right. So if you want to reach a greater audience, you put like something so that someone sees the picture, they'll say, but doc now Monica winoka picture ka, and balaba curious, what has she written? Because she has seen that my picture is looking nice. And then it's you don't really have to go to the photo shoot all the time. There are a lot of people from your class that have iPhones. Make use of your friends, even if you have an Android, don't just get tired. Even you people with iPhones, don't get tired of us with Androids. Please bear with us. We have to put out good content out there. So when we look nice on a day when we're coming to class, just know that you have to take a picture of us. You know what I mean, right? Because you just have to put a good picture out there and you want to share your good content. And also just be so intentional about it. Acquire as many skills as you can whilst you're still a student. I can go on and on and on and on speaking, but I just hope my presentation was on point and you have learned 1 or 2 things. Thank you so much, Kalenga. I hand over to you. Thank you.
Wonderful. One thing has to be mentioned, and that is Dr. Mosa is really interesting. I mean, you have a personality that one can't help but enjoy. I mean, we've had sessions where it's strictly business, and I mean, it's business and it's business throughout, and it's interesting like that. And we've had fun conversations where it's fun and fun throughout, and it's fun like that. I just don't understand how you found a blend between the two. We're talking business, serious issues, but you still find a way to blend in those light moments. I mean, I couldn't help but laugh. I mean, that was a presentation unlike any other we've had. I mean, and this is one thing about these sessions. We keep getting each and every other time we get presenters that bring to us a conversation different from the one that we previously had. And that in itself is amazing. If you were to ask me, that's one thing that separates this conversation from any other. At this point in time, I will invite the questions. I will read out the questions that have been sent into the comment section. So just try to make sure that you sending those questions. With the apologies, my network might be here and there because might as well know the era that we're in currently. But yeah. If you had sent a question earlier or prior to this moment, I would ask that to copy it and paste it right now and resend that question. While we're waiting for those questions from the foundation to come through, I have a question personally. Dr. Musa, how do you strike a blend? Because I've seen you from afar and interacted with you. And one thing I've noticed is that you possess a personality that is, well, easy to interact with different walks of life. How do you manage to blend with people from different walks of life while still maintaining a personal brand and not, for lack of a better term, contaminating it with what the world has to provide?
Thank you so much. I think I get a lot of questions like how do you blend? How do you manage? Like doing so many things and just being consistent with your brand. And now that I'm getting married soon, guys, so I'm sure I'll be asking, how do you blend with family also? Like, yeah, but okay, so the thing is that how do I blend in? Like, it's just to have, like you just need to you have this vision. Like, have you ever been lost in thoughts? Like, you just start thinking of how your life would be like 5 years from now. Be so good. It will be so amazing. It will be so nice. For someone who's in first year, 5 years from now, you've been 60th year, probably bakala kuwaya powered, but it will be so beautiful as well. So like, but for those that are like in final year, like you sit and start thinking, oh, how would my five years like be? How will it be like? So those thoughts and my vision actually keeps me in check, and it keeps me to be in line with who I want to be and who I want to become, like in the next 5 years. I have a vision board. So each and every year I do like a visual presentation of what I want to become and what life I want to have in the next 5 years. So if you have something that's keeping you in check, like your vision, you are definitely time bound, because many things, many different things. his story before he actually became a multi-billionaire in dollars and all. He did so many things for him to reach to where he is. So if you can't blend in so many things for you to find what aligns with your purpose, it's going to be hard for you to know what you are called for. So if you're not, like, you have to be very creative, you have to be very innovative, and you just have to be ready to try out. You have to be ready to blend into different things. But having one thing in line, you need to keep your vision in track. You need to have your purpose checked all the time and have an accountability partner. Have a partner that will keep you in check all the time, that, my sister, this time you are coming out of way, but sister, put yourself together. That's how you're going to blend in, and so that you just don't lose your brand.
All right. Another one is this one comes from Marion. This one comes from Marion, and she asks, "How did you financially manage getting extra education while pursuing your bachelor's degree in medicine?"
Sorry, I didn't get the question.
How did you financially, balance getting extra education? While still pursuing a bachelor's degree in medicine. I hope that's loud enough.
Like financial, like like fin- financially, right? Now, I know someone will ask, but how did you manage to do the 70 with the pressure for school? I want you to know that one thing, you can do all things through Christ who strengthens you, and then for Daniel to become 10 times better than the other people, the other supermen who were in that community, in that tribe, it's because he was intentional about the things that he was doing. So if you want to be 10 times better, you need to have 10 times extra time of the 24 hours, but nishirimu 24 hours. If you have friends who go out, they take alcohol, bala kuma partying, kumashan, and if you have you have those friends that do that, and yet when they come and sit for an exam, they pass. How about that time when they are clubbing? You are spending that time to build yourself and to add value. So when I was in school, I was only known for two things. If I'm not at church, I'm at school. and I'm in my room. You could never ever find me in a club, because that's not the brand I was trying to build. You can do any other thing, if you can rest. How about in that 1 hour when you've told yourself that I need to relax, I need to sleep, you can just get your headphones and listen to one program that has to do with communication skills. And this to my videos that they do in the Western world, they're just like 10 minutes. 10 minutes, each module is like 10 minutes. You just plug in your headsets. On Saturday, you sit for the test. They give you a certificate. Just like that. What it takes is just intentionality. You just have to be intentional. You just have to be intentional about it, because there will never be a perfect time for you to do that. There's a Chinese proverb that says the best time to plant a tree was 20 years ago, right? But the second best time for you to plant that tree is now. So you and I, 20 years ago, we missed that opportunity. I know most of you people who are here, you are obviously less than 30 years. So 20 years or 25 years ago, we were definitely Murika Shawelo, Twale Onkafe Chibotoro Chibonita. And there's a time we were supposed to be planting trees, to be creating wealth, but we were not serious. 20 years, 25 bees, sucking, doing what, all those things. But that was the best time. But even after being given the second best time, you still want to waste it, and you want to come and give an excuse. You want to come and say, 20 years from now, you want us to come and refer that I wish you did that 20 years ago. So if 20 years ago we accept we didn't do that because we were babies, we were sucking, we were doing that, we never even knew how to walk. And that's okay. But now that the 20 years, the second best time is today, you have to do something about it, because next 20 years is not going to wait for you, because there are more people that are coming, guys. This to my Jay-Z generation, to my Tupin, they are taking over. And then as Mana Intishan, we need to pull up our socks, guys, because they'll start telling us, what were you doing 20 years ago? And that will be 20 years from now. So the best time was 20 years ago, and the second best time is now. So you have to do something onto this. That's the best time that you have been given. So be intentional about it. Some of the programs are financially free. So it just requires your time. Yeah.
All right. Thank you very much. I'll definitely remind you on that. So to each and every one of us, just be on the lookout. We'll post these links on the foundation platforms even as they come in. The next question is from Miss Wino, and she asks, how do you manage to handle the stress that comes with a busy life? How do you manage to handle the stress that comes with a busy life?
Thank you so much. I think that area, I'm not really an expert, because I've been having also like moments of breakdown, but I'm learning myself also. I just got a new job, and but the good part is that like when we were starting out, like the businesses for the restaurant, the business for the restaurant. So currently we have restaurants at the hospital, we have a pharmacy, we do transport business. Yeah, so that when we were starting, we told ourselves that before we start getting so busy with other things, we need to set systems in line. Yeah, we need to set systems in line so that by the time life is going to get like very, very busy for us that we can't handle, it's going to be easy for us to manage and navigate through it all. So before I got this job, we made sure that the restaurant, I used to be at the restaurant for the past 6 months. When we were setting up the business, I would work. You wouldn't even know when you come to the restaurant for the first time, you wouldn't even know that I'm the boss or Cartwright is the boss. They are my business partner. You definitely just think we are workers, because we are building that system at that time. So whatever you're doing, it's like pole, one step at a time. For you to navigate through the busy life, trust me, life can get very busy, because the business will be requiring me time to see if things are going on, it will be requiring me to balance books, you know. And then there's also this side, church is requiring me to be present, you know. And then there's this job that's requiring me to be present all the time. And then there's this boyfriend of mine who requires me to be available also. And then there's this part of mine also, my social media friends that want me to be engaged, that want me to respond to the messages. You need to have a plan, like a weekly plan. So how is my week looking like? How are my days supposed to look like? So we have random meetups with my fiancé, because when one part of your life is not going on well, trust me, it's like everything just shatters. Ngawadia iyaba mwana kasale, when you get a 20%, nobody, you can't just eat. Ish, like you just feel like I'm very intelligent. How do I get 20%, guys? Everything just shatters. Like, bread of life, yeah, for those that go to bread of, you just want to sleep because you feel like even the bishop will go and talk about the 20% that you get. You know what I mean? Like, when one part of your life is not going on well, every other parts of your life definitely won't go well. The Bible talks about there's so many parts on our bodies, you know, and how they are so interlinked, such that when you don't have a leg, the whole part of the body, you'll be having difficulties to walk. When one eye is affected, the other part is affected. So that's just how our lives are. If you are in a relationship, they send you a breakup message. Tomorrow you're starting sessional. You just want to write a withdrawal, because even the things that you studied and you gained, like you forget about it. So it's a really, really hard thing to navigate through the busy life. But trust me, God just has a way of just refreshing us, giving us strength, you know, because the greatest strength, like where we draw our strength from, is from God. And you need to create time for yourself. The world is busy. You need to create a me time. Like, I just want to be me. Like, I just want to sit outside, down the tree, just put a big container, a 2.5, just be sipping water. You know what I mean? Just having your me time, because you need it. You can't pour from an empty cup. It's very impossible. You can't pour from, you can't give out what you don't have. So if you don't have it, you can't give it out there. Make sure that it's something that you are having it. Make sure that you take care of yourself. Even in the busy schedules, like, you just have a good conversation with your friend, with your partner. You just tell them that, you know what, I feel like my energy is draining out. I feel like I just have so many things to do. What can I do? And they'll be able to help you. Like, you build yourself and be there for yourself, because the next person won't be there. They want you to be there for them. So if you're not there for yourself, no one will be there for you. So make sure that, my busy life, guys, it's just the truth. Our life will always be busy, but then you need to prioritize what really matters to you at that time. So there are three things, you need to know what's important, and what's urgent. You need to know what's urgent, but it's not important. You need to know what's urgent, but it's important. You need to know what's important, but it's not urgent. That way it's going to give you like space. So is it important for me right now? Like, is it important for me to go to that party? Is it important for me to do that? Is it urgent for me to be there, to be in such a place? No, if it's not, you don't have to be there. So I think that's how I've started navigating through the busy life, because truly it's very draining.
Wonderful. Ish. Time is quickly rushing away, but there are really a number of questions that we have to address, so you have to kindly bear with us. Sincere apologies for eating on the time. I know that the agenda of the meeting goes up to 10 p.m., but please kindly bear with us. Allow me to read a message from Isanga Jason, and he says, what are some extracurricular activities that from experience are wholly important now and projecting into the future? I'll read that again. What are some extracurricular activities that from experience are wholly important now and projecting into the future?
That's why it's speaking to intellectuals, you're asking me hard questions. Guys, what are you doing? Like, okay, yeah, Grace. No, thank you so much. That's like a practical question. Like some of the extracurricular activities. It depends with what stage. Like at what stage? Yeah? You're complete clinical, you want extracurriculum. Guys, no. Extracurriculum for what? Yeah, complete clinical. Eh? But physiology. What's his name? Hmm? You want extracurriculum, but nevertheless, so some of the extracurriculum activities that I actually enjoyed and they have really like been of great help for me, exercising, I think, and also just keeping my body very fit. It has really helped me because as I have gotten to this stage, if I never used to do those exercises, those lovely things that I used to enjoy, it would have been so hard because maybe nganadingirana obese or I'm a BP because the things that I do, the business, the shan, sometimes now imagine if I wasn't having like a healthy body. It's possible that so happen on a BP, you know what I mean? So these little extracurriculum things that we see, me, I can't run, me, I can't stretch, I easily get tired. Those are the things that you're supposed to be doing. And then the other thing, making yourself happy, maybe just through shopping. I think for me it's been therapeutic and it's one thing that I've really like built on myself. That's one of the extracurriculum things that I do. And also hanging out with friends, not all the time, yeah, because you need to build that friendship. You need to build that connection. It's going to be hard for you to start building the connection when you are done with school. Like, where have you been? So if you even have to find like a partner, it has to be now when you're still in school because it's dry out there, guys. It's dry. It's dry. That's just the truth. So start building those, start doing those extracurricular things like, once in a while you go out, once in a while, not Kuma clubs, no. Yeah, once in a while you go for ice cream, like you just visit a friend, you take a walk. Those are extracurricular things. You don't have to do great things. You don't have to do big things, because extracurriculum. And then that you have to go kunankan. Palint. No. That's not a good extracurricular activity. You need to also look at the future, like how is it going to affect the future me? Those people that I was with in the same class, those that used to take alcohol a lot, even after getting done with school, those are the people that are even getting depressed. There's no job out there. There are no jobs out there. There are no jobs. They are very hard to find. Like government employment, it will take time for you to be employed. But then if you just depended, like the only thing that you ever knew when you were in school was clubbing, it's going to be hard for you to navigate through the stress of completing school when you find that there's no BC 650. Ukwamba kufuruka 600 kwacha mwebantu. Because it's dry out there. And the only thing that you ever did when you had 100 kwacha was for you to go out to clubbing, so build good extracurriculum things. So for me it was exercises. They've really helped me. They've kept me in check, like with my health as well, because there are also young people who are having these non-communicable diseases and they are real. And then also just making sure that I'm creating like a good network of friendship. And the other thing was that I love attending conferences. I love attending seminars, no matter how much people can talk about them. That was the extracurriculum thing that I ever did when I was in school. Like I would attend seminars, I would attend conferences. Boy, the time you are taking when you're at the club, let me spend it on 100 kwacha. I attend a conference because it is building me. It is impacting me. It is making me to be the person that I am. So if you are going to debate about me buying 100 kwacha ticket, and no, the motivational speakers just steal your money. Shanishan, there are a lot of theories surrounding it. But if it's something that, even if they steal my 100 kwacha, but if they are impacting something in my head, definitely I would want them to steal another 100 kwacha because it's doing something to me. So, like choose the type of extracurriculum things that you want to do that are going to help you, your future. Like how is my future looking like 5 years from now? will this help me? Will this make me a better person? Will this want someone to listen to me when I grow? Yeah. Will this make me into mfiashu karate? What do you call this? There are those that play chess and those that play draft, right? Yeah, such things. So, like you have to choose now. And it starts now. Like whatever foundation you are laying, it's going to be hard for you to destroy the foundation when you lay it. Because even a house, when they make foundation, it is sealed. So it's very hard to dismantle it because the foundation has been built. So whatever foundation you're building through the extra things that you're doing, that's who you're going to be in the next 5 years.
Wonderful. Thank you very much, Dr. Musa. I'll give you 2 minutes. 2 minutes. There are quite a number of questions that people have asked, but I'll forward them to you via your inbox, and then I'll forward the responses onto our WhatsApp platform. In under 2 minutes, just 2 minutes, what would be your word to a student in the A+ Student Foundation pursuing a bachelor's degree in medicine, engineering, accountancy, economics, whatever program it might be? What advice would you give to them, even as they prepare for society?
Thank you so much. 2 minutes. Great. So if someone tells you that, give us something in 2 minutes, but never what you talk a lot. Yeah, but it's funny, guys, but yeah. So in 2 minutes, Kalenga, this is what I'm going to say. If it can work for me, it's definitely going to work for you. So what people say that, no, what works for this person can never work for you. There's nothing new under the sun. Like, there's nothing new. It's just about like what has John been doing for them to get where they are. Like, if it can work for me, it's definitely going to work for you. But you need to know, like, what have I been doing for it to work for me? I have been consistent. I have been so intentional. I've been pursuing. Like, I'm not ashamed to pursue knowledge. I'm not ashamed to know new things each and every time. So if it has worked for me, it's going to work for you. The other thing, continue building yourself. It can never be taken away from you. You can never go wrong with value addition. The third thing, promote yourself. Self-promotion is very important. People shouldn't judge you that it's boasting or what. People have to know what you are able to bring on the table. If you are not putting it out there, if John never used to post about the A+ Foundation or any other person in the committee, no one would have ever known about the A+ Foundation. You wouldn't have been bringing these great speakers that you have been bringing, influential people, impactful people. It's because you've been taking it out there. So if you know that what you're doing is right and it's in line with your brand, don't be scared to take it out there. People have to know about it. Promote yourself. You just have you. You're the greatest cheerleader, boy. You're the greatest cheerleader, my girl. You need to promote yourself. Even when you get one like on Facebook, trust me, people are seeing it. And people love supporting something that's very consistent. When you look at the people that are doing great things like the Rosia Siatwambos, they started from somewhere. There was a time when they would post something and they would just get one like. But look at them. Even Gaba post the fake full stop, guys will be liking. What's going on, Doc? What's going on? You know what I mean? So put it out there. People have to know you. We have to know